I'm celebrating today's video with a little tipple, I'll say more than a little, so let's get on with it. I'm going to break this video down. It's going to be this video, part 1, then I'm going to do a part 2, because it saves me just talking about 20 watches in one video. And then after part 2, there'll be another video, which is going to be the worst watches I don't recommend. So you can watch that one as well if you like, but there'll be links at the end of the video to move on to the next video in the series. And in this video, every single watch that I will discuss, there'll be a link to the review I've done of the watch. And of course, if you fancy buying one, and of course, as you would expect from a bargain watch review channel, there'll be affiliate links. So without me waffling on forever, let's get on with it, shall we? The first watches, or watch of the ones from Baltany I recommend, are the Bubble Back series. Now, Baltany watches, they've done lots of vintage style watches, sort of reissue, if you will, watches that aren't made anymore, or watches that are made but are very expensive. Military style watches are, for me, a personal taste, but the Bubble Back series that Baltany do, I really like, because they offer something that's very wearable size. Often the Bubble Back series are 36mm in case size. You'd think that'd be too small for an average man, but you know what? Because it's got that vintage look to it, it pulls it off, because watches of old were generally smaller and they've got that design element which helps them just look good. They've got a decent lug to lug length, often 45-ish. So it wears like a bigger watch, and they're thicker as well, because you've got the bubble back of the case, then you've got domed crystal, and such a lovely variety of dial designs. The value for money these watches offer are extremely good, and I wanted to just reiterate why I'm a fan. These watches, you can't go wrong. Build quality, the stats and specs are always very good. You get sapphire on all the watches, you get automatic or quartz variants of many of the watches. The lume is really good, and I've not had any with poor build quality. So that is very good positive results from Baltany. So let's move on without me going on too much about these Baltany watches, and that would be Corgeut. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I say Corgeut. And my favourite one I've seen in a long time, the one I bought myself, was about £60 plus taxes, so all in about 70, delivered here to the UK, is the GMT watch that they offered. Obviously it pays strong homage to a well-known watch, but I'm not going to mention that. But you can see from the pop-up here, it's a great looking watch. The build quality is fantastic. I had no quality control issues on this piece, apart from maybe the bezel action was quite light, but a nice feel to it. And the specification is fantastic for the money. You get a Chinese generic kind of GMT movement. I've never had issues with them. They often run quite poorly, and mine was running very fast. The kind of thing you can regulate if you're that kind of way inclined. But you get sapphire, pretty good lume on this watch, ceramic bezel insert, very comfortable wear, and again, for the money, it's fabulous. This wouldn't be a recap kind of summary video of all the best Aliexpress watches if I don't mention this next watch. It's from Escapement time. You know what I'm going to say, it's the homage to a King Seiko. Some people say Grand Seiko, but I would argue it's more like a 1960s, 70s King Seiko. Again, watched a review I've done on all the watches from Escapement time. I've bought every single Escapement time watch. They're not one of the companies that does lots of review pieces. I've been happy to spend far too much money buying almost every variant that they offer. And that's down to you which one you prefer. They do different case sizes. They do one that's deemed for ladies, but I would say it's again a size 36, 35mm version of the same watch. They're all quartz, these Escapement time watches of this style, and they have really good overall fit and finish. Again, for the price, it's fabulous. 60 to 70 pounds delivered. You can't go wrong. It's a great dressier piece. You do have screw down crowns now on these versions, so slightly improve the water resistance, so that adds the versatility, so you can wear it out and about and not worry about it getting wet. You could wear it in a swimming pool if you wanted to on holiday. Strap monsters, got different dial color variations, so you can really match it to your style and the colors that suit you. A few sloppy bits here and there, I must say, but it's nothing that really catches your eye as being bad. It's not a cheap and nasty watch. It's really good value for money. And I've not been disappointed with any of them, I don't think. Next up, a nice surprise was a subsidiary brand from Felida. They do Matic. And Matic is made by the same company, same people, different brand name. So I bought the Matic homage to an Exploring watch, and this was the frosted white dial version. Had lovely BGW9 lume on the Arabics at 12, 3, 6 and 9. Good lume in the hands. Really good fit and finish. Again, the build quality is really good, and the price less than £100 all in, or around that. Delivered, depends on if there's a sale or not. But generally, the price that you pay for a watch with this specification, Seiko movement as well, it's really good all-round package. So wearable, nice size. It fits many different wrists, I would say. I recommend it because you're going to get the all-round package. Versatility, wearability, good looks, a few dial options as well. Really good. happy days. Now, I've got a bit of a glut of San Martins here. I mean, over the years, I've seen so many San Martins now, but which ones are my favourites? I've got a few here to discuss now. So let's start with the SN081G, an homage to an exploring watch again. And they've done a few variations. They've done one that was like a 39mm case size, slightly more vintage style, like the 1016 Rolex style watch from, let's say, the more vintage era. And they did one that was a bit more of the contemporary design with the slightly different Arabics, etc. Different case sizes as well. They've done some more variations with different coloured dials as well. But the one I really liked was the 37mm case size with your more standard style of dial layout, etc. But the bracelet was beautiful. You get really good specification and build quality with San Martin, and that's very consistent, I've noticed. You get the odd one with a few tiny little quality control issues, but I would say overall it's still very impressive. The prices have gone up. That's something I must say that is a problem, but you're still getting probably the best watches that you can get from Aliexpress are available from San Martin. They are renowned for their quality and they're getting a big reputation now. And I'd say it's still very good, but I'd be wary of the prices keep going up, but they still do more affordable version with the PT5000 movements and Seiko movements. I'd say stick with them. Appreciate the build quality, and you've got a fairly generic but still decent movement in many of those watches. That is the first of the three I'm talking about in this video, and that would be the second one. Is I bought the one that has like a 600-meter dive rating. It's the Pearl Diver. The thing I liked about that was the fact that it had a gorgeous blue pearl dial. It went from light to dark, such depth of character to that dial. Beautiful fit and finish, BGW9 lume, blue, so it complemented the blue dial. The fit and finish again was fabulous. Everything about that watch was really, really nice in terms of its build quality and just how it looked and how it wore as well. Very comfortable. But most of these watches I have bought and sold on because I just have to keep doing that so I can keep affording to buy new watches. But I bought that watch with my own money. I really enjoyed it for the time I had it. And the same applies to the next San Martin, which I'm mentioning, which is the Great Wave Off Kanagawa dialed version of this watch. And the thing I loved about this watch was that dial. The full lume, again, the build quality, the wearability of this piece was fantastic. I don't know why I sold it. It's one of those watches which, I just bought and then I just thought I need the money for another watch to do a review. And I regret selling that one. And that for me is one of my absolute favourites of any watch I've ever reviewed, regards to AliExpress watches, for the reasons why you'd imagine really. It's just everything that you want for in a watch that is expressing your character a bit. I mean, I love that dial. It's got that Kanagawa wave, is one of the most beautiful pieces of art from Japan that I personally like. That I know it's very popular and well known, and why it's hugely popular in the modding culture is for that reason. It's such a stunning piece, and when you put all that lume into it, it's so fun and playful to have that on your wrist as a piece of art. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's probably, no, it is definitely my favourite San Martin of them all. We've got three more before the end of this summary video, and then can have a breather, and then you can move on to part 2 video. Next up, we've got the Seestern Doxa homage, an homage to a watch which is quirky anyway. You're going to go for a Swiss diver, cult style Swiss diver from Doxa. Maybe you like that look, but you don't want to spend thousands on a Doxa. You go, well, I really like the look of that watch. It's very bold coloured dials, and you've got the really nice, comfortable cushion case of the watch. Can I get myself that look for a lot less money? Yes, you can, with the Seestern. And if you want to check out the review of that watch, do click on the links in the description, of course. But I just love it because it's fun, it's quirky. You've got lots of different colour variations on the dial. Whatever one you get, I'm sure you'd be happy. It does wear quite chunky. It's quite a bulbous looking watch, but I found it comfortable. A little bit wobbly on the wrist. It has a lot of wrist presence. It's fun, enjoyable. I'd say as a dive watch with a bit of flair to it, I'd really recommend that, and I've really enjoyed that watch. The next two, again, ones I've bought, and they're both very similar in terms of the brands, and that's Steeldive and Addiesdive. The Steeldive, which is probably the best Steeldive I've seen, and most of you probably bought one, or if you've not, I really recommend you do. It's the homage to the Captain Willard, which is okay to say because that is just a nickname for a type of Seiko. It's good for many reasons. The price, the specification, the build quality, the lume, the look of it, the wearability, the comfort. It's just such a good all-rounder. You get Seiko movement, sapphire, ceramic. It's amazing for the money. You get a few with sloppy build quality issues here and there. The bracelets are a bit crap. You know, you get a very flimsy clasp and it's just jingle jangly. I'd say stick with the rubber bracelet, rubber strap, sorry, and you won't be disappointed. Oh, we're nearly there. I need a sip. Or a guzzle, I should say. Last one before you say let's go to part 2 is one of the watches. When I did a sale video, it was basically the watch that nearly everyone bought. It was so popular for good reason. It's the Addies Dive, homage to a very well-known brand from, let's rhyme it with Rolex, and it's homage to a diving watch which they make. And I bought the one that has the black dial and the green bezel insert, and that's a loomed bezel insert. Really good loom on the dial. The reason why it's so good is it's a quartz movement, so you're saving on the price. 30 to 40 pounds plus tax is peanuts for a solid stainless steel watch. With mineral crystal is the only downer, but I digress a bit here by saying you can swap out to sapphire for about 20 pounds. That's something I did do to mine. But go back to the fact it's stainless steel, it's quartz, it's got 200 meters apparently of water resistance, and then you've got really good loom. It's comfortable, it's a bit of a strap monster, you can just change it out to other straps if you don't like the fairly average bracelet. But you know what, for the money, it's fantastic. And that's what we like. We like something that, don't mind a few flaws here and there. It's not going to be perfect for 40 to 50 pounds, is it? But for what you do get, it's amazing. So if you've enjoyed part one of my best ever watches I've seen from AliExpress, want to see part two? The next video is right here.